Yay! There we are. Okay, welcome everybody to our Monday night call. Got that right this time. And I just want to say we are having an awesome month. We're having so much fun. I just got off the phone with another gal who's going to be joining the team, and I'm super excited about her. She's got a lot of life in her and just a really good sense about her, and it's going to be fun. So I'm actually going to use some of the people I'm working with right now to like illustrate tonight part of my lesson, if you would, for this evening. So what we're going to be talking about tonight is the stages of change as it relates to our business. And that may sound like a funny thing at first glance, but I'm going to hopefully relate it well enough so that you can see that every time you interact with a different person, you're going to be interacting with them in a different stage in their own decision-making process. And it's really helpful for us to get good at figuring out where are they in this cycle, because when you can identify that, then you can start to groom your interactions more accordingly. And I'll give just a kind of off-the-cuff example, but an example might be where someone's telling you they're interested, and then their feet are showing you something differently, right? They're super interested, they say yes all the time, they never answer your call. And you're like, what happened? Right? It gets a little confusing. So this is hopefully going to clear up some of that for you guys tonight. And it's just an exercise that I learned at the communications boot camp years ago and went through a couple of times. And so it's very helpful for me. Then we're going to take that and we're going to apply it to the stages of our business. So you can write down on your paper, if you're taking notes tonight, red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Danielle, you didn't even know this is coming. Red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. And that's going to be, we're going to use that kind of to attach it to the cycle, and I'll take it through hopefully in an easy to explain way. Okay. If you have questions, I want to encourage you to unmute yourself and ask them, because I'm on my phone. I can't see a hand go up. Okay. I can't see all the hands, and I'm going to do a little share screen now to kind of get us started. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do, and hi, Jen, I just saw your face pop up there. Okay, I'm going to go to share screen so you guys can see this. And bear with me 1 second, because it always puts them in the opposite order. And where did you go? Oh, Madonna. Why? Let's see if I can find it. Oh, doesn't want to do it that way. Why does this happen every time? Okay. I'll get it. Doesn't give me, it just gives me these, and they're out of order. Okay. Then I'm going to do it this other way. Cancel. We're going to use technology to our benefit, and I'm going to go to screen. Nope. Why? All right. Well, let me ask you this.
And while you talk, is it something you can send to me?
Yeah, I put it up in the, yes. Hold on. I just don't know why it won't let me go there. Okay, I'm going to send you, it's in my photos. It just won't pull up all the photos for some reason. Okay, do you want it on email, or how do you want it?
Whatever's easiest to share. Email's fine.
Okay. There we go. This is why you need a wingman in this business, guys, because it's all about the buddy system. Okay.
Your own catch.
Exactly. Okay. Here we go. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's sending to you. And then I'm going to see if this actually will let me do it another way. Hold on. I may have figured something out. Okay. So basically, it's not going to show screen photos, iCloud Drive, Dropbox. Nope. Okay. We're just going to wait for Danielle to find it then. Okay. So the whole stages of change is basically takes us through this process. And I'll go to mine so I can view it while I talk to you, of entering into a decision-making process. So what we do is we start out in this pre-contemplation stage, okay? And the visual will make this a lot clearer, so just bear with me while I'm going through it. So the pre-contemplation stage is where you're getting information, you're creating feelings, and you've got some social valuing going on, okay? Your current behavior, there's a reason to make a change, but there's not as much of a reason quite yet. So you're in this thinking about it stage. Does that make sense? Like, I'll give you an example. I was giving this example to, I think it was Jen the other night, where I'm in the pre-contemplation stage of thinking about a new car, okay? Because my car is totally fine. It runs perfectly well. There's nothing wrong with it. It'll run probably for a really long time if I let it, but it's getting older and it's paid for. We've got, stuff to fix from here to there, but there's no real pressing need to make it happen. However, my mind is starting to think, listen, it's old, outdated technology. It would be really nice to get into something new. I've even gone and test drove a couple cars. I've thought about it, a bunch. So I'm in that pre-contemplation stage. Does that make sense? Like, you're kind of thinking about getting ready. You're not getting, but you're thinking about it, right? Now, the contemplation, I may have conversations about cars. I may have lots of conversations about cars. I may even tell people, hey, how do you like that car? Because I'm thinking about getting a new car, right? So people that you're going to interact with are also oftentimes using this kind of language. And it's good to get familiarized with it because you're going to see the readiness factor of how ready they really are to take a step versus kind of where they are in the current state, okay? Now, the second stage, did you get it yet, Danielle?
No.
Huh. Okay.
Is it like a really
Fun.
file?
I don't know. It shouldn't be.
Okay.
If I text it to you, will it show up on your thing? Yeah. I took a screenshot. Okay. And I'm so sorry. I did this literally from my phone so that I could show it to you easier. So my apologies to everybody. Maybe because I'm on the Zoom, it's not going through. I just texted it.
Do you want us looking at the picture you sent us through Voxer?
No, because I have a more detailed one.
Okay.
Yeah, which is what I'm trying to send. All right. So the second stage is this self-val. Okay. So contemplation. So this is now you're going from pre-contemplation, the thinking about it stage, to the contemplation where you're actually really thinking about it. Okay. So your self-valuing. Did you get it?
Yeah. Ready?
Okay. Yep. Okay. Go for it.
There you go. Can you see that?
Yay! Yeah. Okay, technology.
Okay.
When it works, it's great. Okay. All right. So the second stage here is that it's the contemplation stage where it says, I don't know if you can read the words, but I'm seriously consider changing the behavior in the next 6 months. Okay. So there becomes like a time frame to it. It's like the readiness stage, we call it. Okay. And the length, 2 weeks to several years. So for different people, that can mean different things. Now, you have to kind of gauge when you're working with people. I use this example a lot. There's a lot of people that'll talk to you about, like, they're going to move, right? I'm going to move out of state. I'm going to make this change. I really want to go. It's going to happen. Like, so these are all the reasons why. And then 3 years goes by and they're still talking about it, right? But they haven't made a choice. They haven't made a change, okay? So that's just one example, right? But then there's other people, like I know a lot of people, even on our team, that are like, you know what? I'm going to move. I'm going to make this happen. We're going to change houses. I'm going to put my house on the market. And their house is on the market like 2 weeks later. I mean, no joke. Like, I have seen this happen in real life, right? So this contemplation stage is really like how a lot of people linger there for a while. And some people move faster through it than others. And a really good way to gauge how fast people are going to move through this process is how fast they've moved through other changes in their life. So usually the people that we're talking to, we're somewhat familiar with, we either know them through school or through friendships or through whatever, right? Or family members. Some people super, super well. Well, you can put them into some of these buckets and kind of like gauge for yourself. Like, I know some people specifically in my world, who, yes, they're talking about making those changes. They really do want to make that change. They're saying it, they're talking about it, they're getting themselves ready, but it's going to take them like a year and a half, you know, and I'm all good. I just got to love them through the process and kind of go. And then the other people that want to move quickly, I need to be ready for them, right? Because those people are going to make a change one way or the other, whether it's you or not, you know, or something else. And if they move quickly in their life and they make those kinds of, you know, more fast-paced decisions, then you really want to be prepared for that. Am I making sense? Is this kind of okay? Now the preparation stage. Okay, so if we look in this is kind of, there we go. Thank you, Danielle. See, Vanna. Thank you, Vanna. So I'm intending to change in the next month, and I have taken action unsuccessfully in the past year or have had made some behavioral change. So this is a really good, and this says 2 hours to 3 months, but can, oh, you made it bigger. Perfect.
Yeah, better, right?
Yeah. The last 2 hours to 3 months, but can last up to 6 months. So people can be in this preparation phase. Okay, so another example of this, right, might be I've joined the gym. Like I actually, you know, I'm in preparation to get fit. I've joined the gym. I got my membership. I'm not yet going, right? But I'm there. I want that change. I made that change. I signed up with the, you know, with the gym like a year, I mean, maybe like 6 months ago or 3 months ago, or just recently. And I'm thinking about it, but it just hasn't become a habit yet. Okay. Or in the preparation phase, a lot of people in our business, they may actually join our business, but they're not yet quite moving forward. Okay. So they're in that preparation phase to make that change in their life, but they've taken a step, but it may not have been fully successful yet. Does that make sense? And this happens with our customers too. You'll get customers that join on and they don't start taking the product, or they take it kind of, but not really. And they're kind of listening to you, but kind of not. Or they say like, oh, it got here, but we're going on a vacation, or we're doing this or whatever. We'll wait till we get back. Like they kind of push it a little bit. That's kind of that preparation phase. Okay. Now the new behavior, this is tied in. The next stage is all about action. Okay. So I've successfully altered my behavior from 1 day to 6 months in a way that places me at low risk for problems. So this stage is interesting. Okay. They're substitute alternatives. So let's say in this case, you know, we have a new customer. They've joined the team. They are embracing Shred 10. They're having an incredible experience. They're in action. It's starting to become a habit, but they haven't yet necessarily moved their business forward, but they're in action and they're moving forward. And this is starting to become part of their daily space and daily thoughts and activities and actions. So they've replaced old habits with some new ones. They're opening up to others. They're talking to people about it slowly, right? They're avoiding the counter expected high risk situations. So like instead of reaching for the cake, you know, at like a birthday party or whatever, they're going to, you know, have some fruit on the side and grab a tea or something, you know, like they're making those conscious decisions to stay on track. Okay. That's your action. And those people then have the ability to move into maintenance here. Okay. You see that where they go, then it becomes this like awesome regular habit. Look at Danielle, right? And like she's made a huge transition over the last 3 years, and now you couldn't stop her from working out if you tried. She's, you know, ordering everything organic and everything. Her kids are eating more green than they've ever seen in their life. Like it's really stuck. It's happening, right? And she's in that really like stable space of maintenance. Okay. Now termination. This is kind of the action piece. Let me go back to that. So in the action piece, this is where you have the chance of relapse. You see how there's that blue arrow that kind of comes in through there? A lot of times you're going to get this where you have these people who are making these changes. They're starting to become habit. They're feeling really good. They're having great results. And then there's a relapse of some sort. This may happen in their business. It may, you know, they're doing events. They're going to things. They're showing up. They're putting on customers. They're signing up team. And then all of a sudden you can't find them. You're like, what happened? Where'd they go, right? There's a chance for relapse, and it goes back into contemplation. So it's in these different stages that we help people through. Obviously, the goal is to get to that maintenance space where it's so concrete in your your day to day. Like I have customers that are so ironclad, like they take it every single day. And if they run out, they panic and they call me and they're like, I'm out. What do I do? You know, because they took a little extra. That's where you want to get people to. And same thing with our, you know, our business people. Like there's some people that are just so focused that even in the most tumultuous times of their life, they're still putting up orders. They're still adding, you know, reps because it's just so much a part of them, right? That you almost can't separate the two. So the goal is to get to that space. Now, termination. So this is, I've reached the end of the cycle of change and I'm experiencing no temptations. I'm 100% confident in all previous high risk situations. So the length is unknown, but it takes at least, it says 5 years of maintenance, which is really interesting to me that they actually put a time on there, but this is all psychologically driven. So, you know, we talk about customers in our space that it really takes them a good solid year to be a solid customer for you. And that's where the customer care comes in so much. But if you guys think about like the people that you're talking to and help them through these stages, then it kind of eases your expectation of them maybe in a way. Not that we should have any expectations, but just by their language, you can start to see, are they in the pre-contemplation? Because I think this is the biggest issue that people run into. They think that they're ready to take action, you know, but they're really just in pre-contemplation. And they're really just not quite ready yet. And so it's the getting ready to get ready. And then they're in the contemplation stage and they're thinking about it. And a really good question to kind of help people through this stage is asking them, is there anything that you need from me to feel comfortable in taking the next step? Right? And letting them think about it. Like, what is it that they're actually waiting for? Because sometimes they don't know. And sometimes it's just a procrastination thing or whatever. But sometimes there really is something that they're waiting to hear. And it's really important that we flesh that out, especially when we're inviting people to join the business.
Melissa, would you say that line again, please?
Say what again? Sorry?
Your tagline. You've said it before. Is there something that you need?
Oh, is there something else that you need from me before taking the next step or before we take the next step? I think that that's a really good question to get good at practicing. And the answers are usually very telling on the other side. So it's one of those clarifying questions. Okay. Any other questions about this now that we've kind of taken a look at this? Because now I'm going to switch over into red light, green light. Participants. Okay, there's a question. There's something. Hold on. My video is off. Thank you, Danielle. Is my video off?
No, you're good.
I'm good? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay. So let's stop share. Yep. And then I'm going to go into, okay. Yep. All right. Everybody with me? Is this helpful so far? I want to know, because if I'm talking above heads and it's not making sense, I need to know that. We're all glassy-eyed on Monday. Okay. Okay, good. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is go over here, and I'm going to switch my camera so you guys can see this. Okay, so what I did was I put together, I have this like little cork board thing, and it would be much better on a whiteboard, but all my whiteboards are being used right now, so we're going to use this one. And we're going to start with, you're going to see there's 6 squares, okay? So on the upper left-hand corner, and you can do this on a piece of paper, you can just turn the paper over and draw 6 squares, 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, okay? And what we're going to focus on is red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. So in the upper left-hand corner, when everybody's eyes are up, then I'll know I can start. Okay. Almost there. Oh, hey, Chris Ann. Okay. All right, cool. So in the upper left-hand corner, this is going to be your red box, okay? These are, and if I was really good, I would have had this color coordinated, but Paul was late for dinner, so it was, it's all his fault. Okay, so in this left-hand corner, these are all the people on your memory jogger, okay? These are the people you haven't talked to yet. Or you've kind of trickled a little bit, but they haven't taken any steps, okay? They haven't watched a video, they haven't come to a talk, they're in pre-contemplation, right? thinking about it to think about it. Okay. So I'm just going to use, this gal that I just got off the phone with as an example. Okay. Stephanie is a great gal. You're going to meet her actually because she's going to join the team. But okay. So Stephanie, she came on, her and I met about probably 6 months ago. We've gotten to know each other pretty well. You know, I think she's got a great skill set. I told her so. You know, she asked about what I did. We talked a little bit about it. She then, I said, you know, if you want, come with me to an event one time. So I had a doctor's talk. She decided to come with me. So Stephanie then moved into the green square. Okay. We went to a doctor talk. Okay. So I'm sorry, not green. This is yellow. I'm lying. Yellow. Okay. So she went from standing still and being in pre-contemplation, thinking about something, thinking about to think about it. Sounded kind of interesting. She wanted more information every time I talked to her, to moving into some kind of action, right? So she came to something, didn't buy the product, but came to learn, was interested, okay? And then people oftentimes kind of stay in this yellow space for a little while, because sometimes it takes, you know, we say 6 to 7 exposures, right, to get to something or to get to a decision. So you can kind of stay up here. If you're filling out this funnel correctly, and what we're doing basically is creating a funnel here, you're going to have the biggest number of people in this red space, because you're always meeting new people. You're always talking to new people. You want to be putting their names down, contact lists, and all that kind of stuff regularly. Then as they start to take a step, right, and they move, you move them into yellow, because now they're kind of in process, if you would. Okay? My battery's dying. Okay. See if I can give it a little bit of juice. So in the yellow space, they're just, like I said, they're kind of they're thinking about it, they're taking a step. Now, Stephanie came with me for 2 doctor's visits, 2 doctor's talks. She was really interested in the education. She really liked that. So I brought her to the next one. I said, well, we have another one coming up. And she said, can I bring my boyfriend and my mom? I said, absolutely. You know, so they all came. And we got to have a really great night. They left, you know, afterwards. We didn't talk much about it afterwards. So there was some talk back and forth afterwards. So she stayed out in this yellow space for a while. Then it kind of got stagnant, and I wasn't getting a response. I wasn't really sure. And, you know, and I just flat out asked her, and I said, you know what, Steph? I'm like, here's the thing. I'm building my team. I'm in a process of rebuilding my front line and going, you know, adding about 10 new people to my team in this next several month period. And I thought of you because I love your skill set. I think you've got great energy. You're really articulate. I understand that, you know, she wanted to get on the products. This is the issue too. Wanted to get on the products, but was looking for a way to pay for them. So I said, you're already doing the hardest work, which is getting people to events, right? Would you be open to at least talking through what this might look like? And her response was to me, again, contemplation. I appreciate that, Mel. You're so sweet to think of me, but I don't really think it's for me. So a lot of people leave it right there, right? A lot of people just kind of stop right there and they go, oh, she said no or whatever. But how could she say no? She didn't know what she was saying no to. You see my point? So I asked her the question, would you be open to at least exploring this with me? Because you really don't know what you're saying yes or no to until we do that. And maybe it isn't a good fit. And then I'll leave you alone and we'll go on and we'll still be friends, you know? And she was like, okay, that's fair. That's fair. So it took us a couple times, you know, back and forth text messages to get together to actually connect. And then we finally did. And then at that time, you know, I got a chance to really ask her, what are you looking for? What do you think this is? Paint me a picture of what it is that you think you're saying no to, or what you're expecting to see on the other side of this business experience, right? And I got to listen and really hear what she thought about what it was, right? And that's where the learning happened. So it was in that space then that I got to say, okay, well, I really appreciate you sharing that information with me, the insight. And if it would be okay with you, I hear you, you know, this isn't maybe the time, you know, you don't want to take anything else on, you're working on something else. I get it. What if if it would be okay, since we're talking about it, since we already scheduled the time, can I at least walk you through what our company's like, what our culture is like, and what the day-to-day looks like, right? And she said yes. So in that moment, right, then I had permission to share. She was listening and she was open, and we were able to get to a space where we kind of debunked most of what she thought this was going to be, which happens, as you guys know, for so many people, especially with the business. The same process can happen with a customer as well, right? Like they're thinking about it initially, they're thinking about it, they don't want to come to an event, they don't want to commit to anything. A lot of times when they don't want to come to an event, it's because they don't want to commit, they don't want to be pressured to buy anything. So a lot of times in those situations, I just say, listen, it's really just education, leave your wallet at home, and we'll talk about, that tomorrow. If it makes sense to you, you tell me and I'll show you how to sign up. But, there's no pressure for me. There's no checkout registers or anything. Just you got to kind of feel people out a little bit sometimes, right? So in this situation, then we kind of went through, we debunked all that stuff. She was going to think about it. I said, great. While you're thinking about it, I want to, I think our next step, because you're always closing for the next step. And in this case, I said, we have these great Freedom Revolution calls that are coming and happening all the time. It's a really easy click from a mouse. You can watch from your phone. I'd love to get you on one of those. It's about 20 minutes. That'll give you a good insight to how we're doing the business. Because, it sounds to me like you don't want to do the in-home parties right now. You don't want to do that kind of stuff. You don't have to. But if you can see what this is, then that might make sense and make you feel a little bit more comfortable, so that when the timing is right, then you would be able to say, see how you could do it yourself. So she was really game to that. And then I said, in addition to that, there's a presentation I'd love you to come to next week, if that seems to make sense. So just to put them on your calendar, like little tickles in your ear, so they're coming down the road. So, most of the time when you're talking to people, it's about scheduling, right? If you talk about logistics, it's a lot easier to invite them to stuff than it is if you're just trying to convince them to come to a doctor's talk because they think you want to buy something, right? For me, I oftentimes say, I need a head count, right? So just keep me posted on whether that's going to happen or not. If it's not a reality, tell me now, because, I need to count my seats or whatever. Okay, so then the next thing, so we just go in from here, and it's going to be over pretty quick, so bear with me. Okay, so we go from yellow, and now we're in green because she gave me permission to share the business. She gave me all her excuses and everything. We had a great talk through most of it. And then we got to the end of it. I hung up the phone. I let her off the hook. I was like, no problem, no pressure, because there really is no problem. There's no pressure, right? We're not pressuring anybody to do anything. And I said to her, okay, so let's just, we'll keep in touch on text or whatever. And then she texted me back about a half an hour later and said, hey, my boyfriend was in the car. He heard the back end of this thing. If it's okay with you and you'll support me through this startup, then I feel very comfortable with signing up. So now I move her to green. See how that works? Because she's ready to go. Okay, so red, pre-contemplation, yellow, contemplation, and then we're moving towards action. Okay, on that scale. Now, the 1, 2, 3 part is just basically our phase 1, 2, 3. And I just kind of threw that in there because it is a nursery rhyme and you'll remember it. But so we have phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And this is where we just help people through, through the comp plan, you guys, and through their development. Phase 1, we're working on placing their orders. And then we want to end up with 12 trio orders, right? We're going to have 2 to 3 events to support them. And we're going to help them find 1 or 2 team members. Okay, so they go from red to yellow to green into phase 1, phase 2. They've completed their 2,000 plus. And now they're working on qualifying their business, having 25 customers. Okay, collecting some more team along the way, 2 to 3 team members, and helping those team members that they initially started with get their 12, right? And then as they're moving through that, now they're self-qualified. They've got 25 customers. We're helping them move into an A-plus business, which is phase 3 of building from 25 to 40, 39 or 40 customers of their own. And if you look at the leaders on this team, they're here. they've got 39 or more customers. Chrisanne, I'll pick on you because you're in my screen right now, right? She's got a bunch of team members that are in phases 1 or phase 2. And she's just putting people constantly into this funnel so that she can ring them through the process. Okay. Any questions? Simple or not simple? I wanted it to be simple. That's what I was hoping for, but I want to know if it's not, because then I have to tweak stuff.
I think it makes sense.
And you're like right in that process of I do, yeah. You're right in that process right now, Jen. See, you're working it, so it would make sense to you because you're filling that funnel, you're moving people through, you're figuring out where to help them, what's the next step, right? Identifying what's the next step. And again, sometimes like the people that are in that yellow phase, it's going to take 1 to 7 interactions. Sometimes it's 10 or more. It just depends on the person. It depends on how long they typically take to make those decisions, right? How long are they going to be in that contemplation stage, right? So that's why I wanted to show you that decision making, the stages of change first. So you don't take things personally because it's not about us, right? It's not about, and most of the time we're doing everything right. It's just about them. It's about their cycles, their stages, their rhythms, their patterns of behavior, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Okay. All right. Any feedback, any thoughts, any discussion, anything? Hi, Greta.
Great.
Danielle?
A reminder to keep, filling your funnel, but to keep
Mm-hmm.
it in perspective too. I like how you draw the parallel to think about how they are acting or doing or behaving in other areas of their life too. That's a really great way to put it, because however they're doing something in their life is pretty much how they're doing everything
Yep.
in their life. And if we can just maybe look from that perspective too, that it can help take some pressure off of you thinking, oh, why are they not taking a step yet? Why haven't they? Oh, maybe because it took them a year to decide or to buy the car or to whatever, buy the shirt. I mean,
Totally.
What somebody's process is like.
But then you also see people like, to your point, like creatures of habit. Some people, they get into something, they do it every single day exactly the same way. Those are your sticky customers, as long as you can get them to have a good customer experience, they will stick with you forever. That's awesome, right? So, and they'll probably tackle their business in the same way too. So it's just, again, how you do life is how you do everything, right? And so if you watch in these other spaces, I think it's just, the whole point is to get us out of this space of feeling insecure or, what's the better word? I don't even know. Judgmental or whatever, like not taking anything personally. Like that's the whole point is when we did that book, like don't take anything personally. It really isn't about us. It's just, where are they in the phase? How can you, in the stages, how can we help them move forward? Are they ready or are they willing? And sometimes you're going to get those people too that, they sign up for everything, and they like, it's like the best thing on the planet. And then like 2 months later, they found something else. It's the best thing on the planet, And so that should speak volumes also, like pay attention, right, to those kinds of things because your people best. But yes, back to your point about the funnel. And I think a lot of people get stuck because they get talking to the same people over and over and over again. And all those people are in their yellow square, right? And they're not necessarily moving forward. And the thing that we all need to remind ourselves is that it's really so critically important to keep filling that starters page. And it should always be the biggest. Okay. The biggest number of people. Okay. Well, if you guys are good, then I think we're all set. I just wanted to put that out there tonight. Hopefully that's helpful and a nice little system that you can implement to kind of get thinking about this stuff.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Are there any Freedom Revolution calls this week?
Yeah, I posted on our Voxer chat.
Oh, you did?
On from the 90-day game plan one, but in terms of our team stuff, there's things that Melissa and I are talking about. So
yeah,
okay.
What pops up.
Yeah, and we're still looking for some feedback from you guys on terms of maybe we should just ask for the people who are on the line. Would it be helpful to have one as a regular standing occurrence each week? Yay or nay?
I loved when we had those, and when we used to do them. It was great just knowing that there was something that was always there to invite people to.
Okay. Anybody else?
Don't ask me when it should be. I can't answer that for you.
I know it is a hard question. That's what we're trying to wrestle with right now.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like it's either too early for some people, too late for others. It's tough.
Okay.
What about every other week? Is that doable?
I was going to say the same thing.
Or maybe we can switch I don't know, something we can certainly think about. Yeah.
Mm.
Once a month for sure, or maybe one every other week.
When did they used to be when we did them a while ago?
I wasn't a real part of that because that was kind of during our.
I want to say we were doing it every Tuesday. It had started every Tuesday. It became then too much, and then it was like every other. It started scaling back to every other Tuesday, and then once a month Tuesday.
But like, what time was it? Was it at 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like 8:30.
Okay.
Yeah. I think 3 different time zones and trying to figure that piece out. I mean, we could alternate back and forth each week, like a daytime and nighttime and daytime and nighttime, something like that. But the biggest thing is, if we're filling that red zone and we're bringing new people, we should have lots of people to make it worth it. It's when it's, the same people doing the work and only 1 or 2 people getting on and the reps, then it makes it challenging. So if we have the commitment that we're all inviting new people, and really working hard at that, then I think it definitely can be a tool that we can use to grow quickly, which would be great because they're very effective is what we're seeing, which is great. So yeah, so we welcome your feedback. Just box us and message us or whatever if you have a specific, and if it's something that you want to use as a tool to build your business and you have a time that is convenient for your people then and yourself, then let us know that too because it'll help. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice to see everybody's face. Have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Bye.